Now here we have my Burden Primer decapping tool. As you can see, it's manufactured out of stainless steel, which is handy because it's tough, and because you're using water you don't have to worry about drying it or rust or anything like that. You could make it out of mild steel if you want to. It's going to tend to rust a bit. You'd need to dry it and oil it. You could make it out of brass probably, although this top bit, as you'll see, you have to whack with a hammer, would probably get a bit dented. But basically all it is a cylinder, has a bigger base at the bottom just for stability as you're putting it on your ground or bench. Has a hole at the bottom. At about this point inside is a 90-degree shoulder, which goes from the large diameter at the top to the small diameter at the bottom. And you've just got a punch that fits not super tight but reasonably tight in there. Now, as you can see, this I didn't make this myself, I must admit. It was the idea and construction was by an acquaintance of mine. Basically what happens is you get your case. As you can see, this is made to just fit a Swedish Mauser case. Case goes in there. Now, if you think about it, if we were to put the case in there, it's sitting against the shoulder at the bottom, and we fill the whole thing up with water, so both the inside and the outside of the case are surrounded by water, and we put this on here. Now what happens is, when I let that go, because the water is there, it's not going to fall straight down. It's going to gradually go down as the water is displaced both out of here and probably a little bit around the base of the case. But what we can do is we can put that in, put it in a bucket of water, put that on, and then put it on a solid surface, and before that has a chance to go down, we give that a heavy whack with a hammer, usually once, sometimes if they're a bit tough, two or even three times. But there's no case that I've ever had that it hasn't removed the primer from. Okay, here we are ready to show you how to use the hydraulic capper to decap the Burden cases. We're using a fairly solid bench down under the house. I'll often use just a piece of wood on the ground, but it's just a bit easier to film like this. So we've got our bucket of water, our Burden decapping tool, and a heavy hammer. One of these little brickies mallets is ideal because it's about as big a hammer as you can swing with one hand. Okay, so here we go. We've got a once fired Burden prime case, still with its original military primer crimped and glued in. Drop it in there, put it in the water, fill it up with water. There's the primer. One hit and it's out. And I don't know if you can see, but it's probably a bit dark under here. You can still see the remains of the green glue in the case.